the recording. Yeah. So now I will introduce our speaker, the background. So here is Professor Dan Spencer. He is an emeritus of environmental studies at the University of Montana. So the Professor Spencer specializes in ecological ethics, environmental justice, and global environmental issues in Latin America and Southeast Asia. Since 1983, he has led over 100 international study programs across Latin America, Asia, and Africa. He has also led the Mansfield Center's Vietnam Winter Section course 5 times and had served as academic director for the YSEALI Program 12 times. And he holds a BA in geology from Carleton College and a Master of Divinity and PhD in environmental ethics from Union Theological Seminary in New York. So now we are honored to welcome Professor Dan Spencer to share his talk with us. The floor is yours, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Veronica. I'm going to start very quickly with a greeting that I always do here in Montana, since it's morning time here in Montana and evening time where you are. But I'm a morning person, so I love to be up in the morning. And I see Lian is there and Adele from Indonesia is there, who both were with me here in Montana. So I always start everything with good morning and good evening, YSEALI. I want to just tell you, I am so happy to be able to talk to you about the YSEALI program. This is a program I've been working with for about 12 years, one of my very favorite programs, and it has introduced me to so many wonderful people, young adult leaders from 11 different Southeast Asian countries. And one of my favorites is Myanmar. We get really, really wonderful fellows from Myanmar. But I also know that this is a very difficult context in Myanmar now, and access to education is challenging. Even things like access to the internet and access to electricity. So I want to acknowledge that when I start here. I will keep my presentation part fairly short. There's a lot of information, and I don't want to overwhelm you with the information. I'm more interested in knowing what your questions and concerns are. But what I thought I would do is start a little bit with some background on just what is YSEALI, the Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative. How did it begin and how has it been functioning, to give you an overview about that. And then we'll turn to some of the characteristics of the program itself, what the United States State Department, which is the sponsor of YSEALI, what they are looking for in terms of the applicants to become fellows in the Academic Fellows Program. And we'll go over some of the application materials. I want to highlight here, you have Lian here. Lian was a fellow, is from Myanmar, was an academic fellow in the fall 2023 program. And somewhere in here is Adele, who was a fellow from, there's Adele. Good morning, Adele. Good evening, Adele. And Adele is from Indonesia and was in the program in this last fall. Adele also was at a workshop for YSEALI alums that was held in Laos in February. So I got to see Adele was part of 70 different alums who came to that workshop there. So we'll talk about the different opportunities. Good morning, good evening, Adele and Leah. It's so nice to see you here. Oh, and then we have, there's Kao. Yes, Kao from Thailand is just there here. Kao was also in the fall 2024 program. He was our resident astronomer. He showed us all the different things in the Milky Way when we were in Glacier National Park. So I at some point may ask, do we have any other former fellows in the online? I may ask them to talk a little bit about their experience, because they have successfully applied to the program and can talk to you about what their experiences have been here. But let me go ahead and share a couple things here. And I would just ask Veronica and Wawa and Lian, if I'm missing something or if I'm going too quickly over something, please interrupt me. You can use the chat box or you can just speak up as we go over some things here. I want to make this the most helpful presentation for all of you. So make sure that I'm addressing the questions that you have about things here. What I'm going to do simply is just use the share function right now to go over some of the websites that talk a little bit about YSEALI. So this is if you look at the URL up here, this is the website for the U.S. mission to the ASEAN countries there, and has about YSEALI here. And so you can see one of the components of the YSEALI program is that we end each program in Washington, D.C., so that the fellows get a chance to experience the federal government there. But most of the time will be spent in local places here. So I'm just going to read this little paragraph here. It says, launched in 2013, the Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative, or YSEALI, is the U.S. government's signature program to strengthen leadership development and networking in Southeast Asia. Through a variety of programs and engagements, including U.S. educational and cultural exchanges, regional exchanges, and seed funding, YSEALI seeks to build the leadership capabilities of youth in the region, strengthen ties between the United States and Southeast Asia, and nurture an ASEAN community. YSEALI focuses on critical topics identified by youth in the region. So there are 4 main topic areas that are the organizing topics for each of the institutes. One is civic engagement. Another is innovation and entrepreneurship. Another one is natural resources, which focus on environmental issues and natural resources. And one is society and governance. Now you see that, well, I should mention the YSEALI program was started by President Barack Obama during his administration because he really wanted to strengthen ties between the United States and Southeast Asia. And he wanted to be investing in the youth, in the education of the youth there in Southeast Asia to help develop leadership capabilities in the youth of Southeast Asia. It was continued after into the Trump administration and the Biden administration, and now we are in a new administration of Donald Trump again. So there are some changes going on, which is typical for every new presidential administration here. But we'll talk a little bit more about that. Now, you can see just a few things. I'll come back a little bit on the YSEALI programs, but it says, why YSEALI? Approximately 65% of people in the ASEAN region are under the age of 35. So that means you are in the majority of the population of Southeast Asia here. YSEALI is an effort to harness the extraordinary potential of youth in the region to address critical challenges and expand opportunities. Who is YSEALI? The YSEALI community consists of bright young leaders who are 18 to 35 years old. And here are the 11 different countries that are listed in there. It's the ASEAN countries plus Timor-Leste on them. And the calling youth with a vision is a really critical part. We'll talk more about that, but that's what you want to keep in mind if you apply to YSEALI. Young people in Southeast Asia are working to make tomorrow a brighter day. The United States is here to help. We want to hear from you. What resources do young leaders need to make Southeast Asia and the United States safer, stronger, and more prosperous? So there are lots of different ways to do this, to engage with them here. But I'll come back and just take a moment here to look at the YSEALI programs. You can see there are 5 different programs. I'm going to talk primarily about the second one, the academic fellowship program. But the YSEALI professional fellowship program is for young professionals who are beginning or the early parts of their professional career. So these are folks who are usually age 30 to 35 or so, who have some experience that are now in their professional fellow, and they are brought to the United States and they are partnered or paired with someone who's in a similar kind of profession as them. So it could be someone who does education. It could be someone who is working in business development. There's a lot of different ways on that. We're going to talk primarily about the YSEALI Academic Fellowship Program, which is the one that I have been most working on there. But just to motion here, there are 3 other ones that follow that program. There are regional workshops that are set up throughout Southeast Asia. Some of these for first-time YSEALI people. Some of these are for alumni of the program. There's YSEALI Seeds, which is a program that provides funding for different kind of projects there. And then the YSEALI Academy. So I'm gonna stop this for a moment here and have a share with the University of Montana's YSEALI page, because I think it does a nice job of let me just this second here. It's been a while since I've been doing, the Zoom process here. We all got so good during COVID with Zoom, and then I haven't been as keeping up with it quite as much here. Let's see if this does here. All right. Let me just ask Veronica, is that got the Mansfield Center YSEALI Academic Fellows Program? Is that what people are seeing? I just want to make sure that the screen share is working. Is
That's correct,
Yes,
Professor. Yeah.
Professor.
okay? So
Yeah.
it says YSEALI Academic Fellows Program. Good. Okay. So this is some kind of things here. So the Mansfield Center is an institute at the University of Montana. We are one of 12 different institute hosts around the United States that host these different experiences here. And so I'll just read again a little bit here. The YSEALI Academic Fellows Program is a U.S. Department of State sponsored program with funding provided by the U.S. government and administered by the Mansfield Center at the University of Montana. YSEALI seeks to build the leadership capabilities of youth in the region, strengthen ties between the United States and Southeast Asia, and foster a community of leaders who work across borders to solve shared issues. So I went to that. A really, really important part of that is the emphasis on leadership. We are looking for people who have already established themselves as leaders in their countries in Southeast Asia and who are interested in developing those leadership capacities while learning about how to address a variety of different issues that face Southeast Asia and the world. So this one here says YSEALI Academic Fellows Program accomplishes these objectives by bringing undergraduates or recent graduates, so you have to be between ages 18 and 25, from 11 countries in Southeast Asia to the United States for a fully funded 5-week exchange at U.S. university or college. So this is important to know. The YSEALI program is fully funded. If you're accepted into the program, it will pay all your transportation costs, your lodging costs, your meal costs, everything, and you'll get a stipend to cover other costs while you're in the United States. So you should not be required to do any out-of-pocket expenses on your side there. It's a fully funded program there. Come back here, it says each program includes an academic residency, community service activities, an educational study tour, a closing workshop, and a reciprocal exchange component that sends Americans to Southeast Asia. I'll try and talk about a little one of each of those as we go along here. But YSEALI academic fellows can study in one of 4 YSEALI themes at 12 host institutions here. So here are the 4 different themes and the host institutions on there. I don't imagine most of you are going to know where these institutions are located, but they're spread all around the United States here. So there's one institute that focuses on civic engagement. In the United States, this is a really important component. We have a very large civic engagement sector with the nonprofit or the NGO sector. I think that's true in most countries in Southeast Asia as well. They are a very important component of our society for developing the different kinds of themes we're looking at here. And so there are 3 different universities: Northern Arizona University, Portland State, University of Nebraska at Omaha, that focus on civic engagement. I've been involved in the second one, which is the natural resources one, focus on environmental issues and natural resources here. And again, so you see the University of Montana is here, the East-West Center at Hawaii. The 2 of us have been doing this quite a while. The YSEALI has just added a 3rd program at California State University in Chico that just finished their first program on natural resources. Then there's an interesting one on innovation and entrepreneurship. This is a really vibrant area in Southeast Asia. You have a lot of young people working on innovation and becoming entrepreneurs. And so there are 3 locations in Connecticut, Kansas, and Nevada that focus on that topic there. And finally, society and governance. This is the whole area about how we develop policies to change society and governance there. And again, 3 universities at James Madison University, which is in Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C., Syracuse University in New York State, and Western Washington universities there. And you can you can contact the different people in the different ones to learn more about each one of those institutes here. This is the one, again, where the University of Montana that I've been working with since about 2012, our focus on natural resources here. And so the one I know the most about here, but I'll just read through a little bit of this here. Since 2010, the University of Montana has hosted the YSEALI Academic Fellows Program and its precursor institutes. Many challenges faced by Southeast Asia are also present in Montana. Montana is a natural resource oriented state. So both the development of natural resources and the environmental issues that come from that are really critical here. So fellows in this program travel to Montana to study the role of natural resources, energy, and environmental policies in the economic and political development of the United States. They engage with local partners, enhancing their leadership skills to support the ongoing work with the ASEAN countries there. Through academic and field-based learning, fellows gain a well-rounded understanding of natural resource management in Montana and the United States. So that our first, YSEALI is a 5-week program. For Montana, the first 5 weeks are here. Our first 4 weeks are in Montana. And I'll talk about the different components here. Then the last week, where it says, after engaging with these topics in Montana, fellows spend their final program week exploring similar themes in New Orleans, Louisiana. That's the Delta region of the Mississippi River, our largest river system in the United States. So very different topography than Montana. Montana's in the Rocky Mountains, what we call a headwaters state. So it's where the snow falls and begins to fill our ridges there. And then from there, we go on to Washington, D.C. to look at federal policy mentioned there. During their time in Montana, and this is true of each institute, fellows work together with other fellows from other countries to design a project that they will then implement when they return to Southeast Asia. We can talk more about that here. This notion right here, community and university engagement, a key component of the Institute is community and UM student engagement, which fosters cross-cultural interactions, international friendships there. And so we have a variety of ways this happens at the Montana program there. We have cultural hosts, which will host fellows on a weekend experience there. So you get into a Montana family's home to just see how they live and learn from them. We have what's called cultural liaisons, where you'll be paired with a University of Montana student during the time of your program there to help with that area there. And then we also do a lot of field trips. We do field trips to places like Glacier National Park or Yellowstone National Park. We look at some of the different mining communities. We go to Montana state capital of Helena, but we try to give you a real experiential focus on the different elements of Montana there in a well-rounded education on that area there. So that's, let me just stop this for a second here, and I'll see if I can pull up one more website. Then I'm going to go over an application with you a little bit here. Let me. All right. I just want to double check that you're all seeing the one that says YSEALI Fellowships. Yep. Okay. Thank you, Veronica. And so you will see, if you come to Montana, you will see that the weather is sometimes very different than it is in Southeast Asia. So this is a group that we took to Glacier National Park. This is actually what springtime can look like in Montana. We still had a lot of snow, a lot of ice there, but we went to Glacier National Park. But these are the two main fellowships, the academic fellows and the professional fellows here. And what I want to do is to go now to the Young Southeasterners Academic Fellows Program here. So let me just double check. Did that change website there, Veronica? Are you seeing that? Okay, good. Thank you. Sometimes things change on my screen and they don't change on Zoom. So I want to make sure you're seeing the same things that I'm seeing on that. Okay, so here's the emphasis on this is the University of Montana here, our YSEALI fellows there. Fostering leadership development is really the key thing about that. And so that's the thing that you want to be thinking about when you fill out your application. So here again are the 4 different areas: civic engagement, natural resources, innovation and entrepreneurship, and society and governance there. And I'm just going to put this URL in the chat so that let me just stop share for a second here. so that you have this URL if you want it there. It's a very helpful one, I think, for going through that. I'm going to go through some of these things with you right now, and we'll open this up here. So where it says learn more, I'm going to just click on the natural resources one, since this is the one that I work with mostly here. And so we've here are the 4 different areas. And then each one is described a little bit about what they're doing with civic engagement, what they do with natural resources, what they do with innovation, entrepreneurship, and society and governance. So I would encourage you to look through each of these, and you can also, there's a link to each of the universities that are the host institutions for those as well. But let's just take a little look at the, well, actually, let me just stop for just a moment here and just ask if there's any questions that I can clarify about YSEALI before we look at the application process itself. So any questions that people want to either ask or put in the chat?
So for participants, it's a great chance for you to ask questions if you have any, or you can also type in the chat. Or if you are
Yeah,
not,
and
yeah.
this is mostly just if you have questions about what is the YSEALI program. I want to turn next to the application process so I can answer more questions about specifically the application there. But if anybody's confused or I haven't been clear about what are the different kinds of programs here, I'm happy to answer those right now. Otherwise, we'll just proceed on. But I really want to make sure we have time for your questions.
Hello, Professor. Can I ask? Hello.
Hello, Gary. Yes.
Yes. I, I have 2 questions. I have a little
Okay.
bit concern about the Donald Trump shutdown, all of the visa for our Myanmar people. I have a little bit concern about this. The YSEALI program does please support our Myanmar people for you. And then the next question is, I'm over 25, now I'm 26, but I'm a little bit concerned about my profession. Like uh, I haven't joined the YSEALI Academy program. I only join I think I only joined the YSEALI professional program. So how should I prepare for this program? And I have like a more than 3 experience in CSO, but not the not a full-time position, but I do the intern and volunteer. So that's why how should I prepare for my application process to success the application? Is this
Okay.
okay? Sorry for
Yeah,
my voice.
Terry, I might have you write some of that out a little bit there. I'm having a little bit of problems with the audio. I wasn't able to understand all of your question, or maybe, Veronica, did you catch that? Were you able to repeat the question to me?
Yes, Professor. Theory has 2 questions. The first one is that because of the transition right now, since the visas are, or got prohibited because of the Trump administration. So what will there be any changes for this program? And
Right.
the second question is that Theory, could you please repeat your second question, please,
I
since I
think it was
missed.
about the age, right? And age and qualifications, but the
Yeah,
audio broke.
qualification, because I think my plan is that I want to apply for the academic program, but my age is now 26. So I think I can join the academic program, and I'm changing my plan to apply the professional YSEALI program.
Okay.
So that's why I have a little bit concern about my qualification also, because I think it is too high for me like this. So I have a little bit concern about this. So I want the motivation from you to apply the
Yes.
yes.
So
Yeah.
that's a very, so let me try and address both those questions, and then maybe we'll go to the application process because I can address some of those as well here. Let me take your second question first. We have had some fellows who are 26, sometimes even 27, because they applied when they're still within the age range there. And what right now you would be applying for 2026. The programs here, the 2025 programs are both filled already. We have one in the spring, which we just finished. There'll be another one in August and September, which is our fall time here. And that is already filled as well. So the next application round will be for the 2026 programs, one in the spring, one in the fall. If you are still 26 for the spring one, you probably would still be eligible for the academic fellowship program. If you're by then, if you're 27, you probably should focus on the academic professionals program there. What I would encourage you to do is to contact the U.S. Embassy in Yangon directly, because they have a YSEALI officer there who can help you answer some of those questions there. The second question, or the first question about the Trump administration, we're pretty early into the new Trump administration, and they are changing things almost on a daily basis. So we are trying to keep up with those changes there. One of the things that's going on right now is they are reorganizing the U.S. Department of State. And while they're doing that, they're eliminating some programs and expanding other programs. We don't know for sure what will happen with YSEALI. YSEALI will definitely continue through the end of this year. It's looking likely that it will also be there for 2026, but we don't know that for sure. So we are proceeding as if it will continue, and we hope it will continue. The other thing, of course, that is a big effect from fellows from Myanmar is just 2 days ago, the Trump administration announced a new travel ban on several different countries. And unfortunately, one of those countries is Myanmar. And so that will restrict who can get a student visa or a visa to come and study in the United States there. Now, this is a challenging one right now because this is a brand new thing on our end, and we're still studying it to try to understand what it will mean for Myanmar. The thing, what I would say though, is that the programs that you would be applying for YSEALI would start next spring. They would start in April of 2026. So we're almost a year away from that. A lot can change during that time in terms of travel restrictions, those kinds of things. So I would still, if you're interested, I would still go ahead and apply for this here. We still don't know for sure yet when the application process will be open. I just was meeting with some people at the Mansfield Center yesterday, and it looks like the application process will open here in another week or two here in June. So let's take a look at the application process right now and just see about how that is shaping up there. They will be posting the information on the website when we get there. But let me ask you, Theory, did that address your questions?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. And I see a question in the chat room. I want to confirm that the duration will be 5 weeks. Yes, these are always designed as a 5-week program there. So it usually is, the spring program is 5 weeks, starting in the middle of April, going towards the end of May. And the fall program, I think this year will start in September and continue into October on that here. I haven't seen the official dates on that, but they will have those fairly soon. Let me go back to this website here. And I want to click, if you see at the top here, there's the apply. So, and again, I'm going to just put, I'm going to put this in the chat room, this URL, because I think this is again a helpful one if you want to just go back and read more about some of these things online, and you can click on the various different institutes on that here. But if we go up to here, it says apply. All right, let me just double check. Veronica, does it say apply now on the screen? Good. Okay. So become a YSEALI fellow here. Notifications to applicants who are invited to interview will begin in early November. So this was this year's one. So they have not updated the dates here yet for how but the process will be pretty similar on that here. So I think it says at the bottom here, information on the 2026 application will be shared on this site when it's available later this year. So I'm again just quickly going to put this URL in the chat. So if anybody wants to follow up on that, you've got that URL there. But I'm just going to read through a little bit of the notes here. So it says, please recognize due to the large number of applicants, we are unable to respond to emails inquiring about application status. YSEALI tends to get a large number of applications there, but I think you can make your application rise to the top to be a stronger one if you pay attention to some of these different things here. So let's just go, well, first of all, it says the application periods for both the spring and the fall cohorts for the 2025 YSEALI Academic Fellows. That will be the same thing when they announce the new date for the 2026 ones, which I think will be coming up in the next couple weeks. That will be for both programs in 2026, both the spring and the fall. So you need to be aware that you'll be applying to both of those there. There is a frequently asked questions page here. You can click on that link here. But let's just go over some of this here. And some of these things we've already talked about, but I'll go over them a little bit here. Between the ages of ages 18 and 25 by the application deadline. Now notice here, although exceptional applicants over 25 may be considered if they meet all other eligibility requirements. So theory, that would be, you would probably fit in that category. You should consider, if the new application comes out soon, you should consider still applying for that. A citizen of one of the following countries there, you can see Myanmar is located in that here, and you have to be a resident of one of those countries there. So even if you're not, I know some Myanmar students are like studying in Thailand or other places there, as long as you're a resident of one of the ASEAN countries, you're fine that. You need to be a full-time or a part-time undergraduate student from a college, university, or other institution of higher learning, or have graduated with their undergraduate degrees in the past 4 years. So one thing, and it's partly connected to because you need to be proficient in reading, writing, and speaking English. These programs are entirely done in English there. One of the great things about this is that for virtually everybody coming from Southeast Asia, English is their second language. You have a few people who come from, like the Philippines, where they have English in their schools and stuff, but most of you have English as a second language. And so everybody's on the same footing, and you really learn English well together as part of the Institute here. So I think one of the real benefits of these institutes, in addition to the content, you're also getting a lot of practice working in English. And English is such an important international language now that it gives you a lot of experience learning with other people. So you become very, very fluent in speaking English, which is very helpful on that. But it is designed for fellows who are either in college or have graduated from college or Institute of Higher Learning on that. You can't be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident of the United States. You can't be an employee or meeting families of the U.S. government, such as embassy professional or personnel. You can't be an alumni of a previous YSEALI Academic Fellows program there, and you have to be eligible to receive a U.S. J-1 visa. That's the part that we don't really know what that's going to mean right now because of the travel restrictions that have been just announced there. But the embassy in Yangon should have more information about that here. So that's just the basic background here. It's more the desired qualifications that I want to pay attention to, because you want to write your application in a way that it really demonstrates your interest in and your dedication to the issues that you're focusing on there, whether that's entrepreneurship, whether that's governance and society, whether that's natural resources there. So successful applicants should, here's the following: demonstrate interest, knowledge, or professional experience in one of these areas: civic engagement, natural resource, innovation, entrepreneurship, or society and governance there. So This is where it's really important to list your experience. If you have volunteered, for example, with an environmental cleanup project, if you have started your own website for something like that, but however you can show what you've been doing that demonstrates not just your interest in it, but your actual dedication, experience in that here. The second thing is demonstrating strong leadership qualities and potential. This can be in your university, your place of work, or your community there. So, so many of you do such a great job in this area here, there. But if you have organized a cleanup project, if you've served in your university student leadership there, if you're a community leader and have helped with community projects, whatever you can do, that's what you want to include there to really demonstrate that. A third one, demonstrate a commitment or interest in community service, volunteerism, or mentorship. This is a really important quality here. And I know this can be a particularly challenging one for people from Myanmar right now, because your social society is so disrupted right now that there oftentimes are not possibilities to do this. I mean, a lot of people in Myanmar are just focusing on basic survival right now, and so you may not be able to do volunteerism or community service there. We understand that. We understand that Myanmar is in a very different context right now than most of the other ASEAN countries there. Nevertheless, if you can show how you're interested in doing some of that, that will be really helpful there. You want to show why you're interested in learning about the United States and Southeast Asia. Well, how you see coming to the United States might help you with the work that you're doing in Southeast Asia. You need to show that you're willing to actively participate in an intensive academic program, community service, and study tour. This is one that it's a big time commitment. You're committing to 5 weeks there, and so sometimes it can be challenging if you're in school to combine this with your school experience, or if you're working to be able to get the time away to do on that. But we've had really good experience with most of our fellows where they've been able to negotiate with their home situation there to be able to come onto the program there. And we will work with you to help you do that as well. A key thing is to have a commitment to return to your home country, to apply leadership skills and training to benefit your community, country, or region. Part of that will come, you'll be part of a group project, and I might ask Adele and Kao and Leanne just to talk a little bit here about what projects you did develop while you were here and what you're doing when you get home there. And then the other thing is we really are, YSEALI is prioritizing to people who have not previously had a chance to study or travel in the United States. If you have been in the United States, that does not eliminate you, but we really are going to focus on people for whom this will be a new experience on that. So let me just walk through right now just one sample program or application so I can show you an application that was successful in there. And this is, I've taken the name off of this one, so it's an anonymous one, but this is someone from Myanmar who applied and in the last few years there. And it will also show you what the 3 main essay questions are that you'll be addressing here. So the first essay question, tell us about your interest and experience in your top 2 ranked themes. So when you apply, there are 4 different themes. You will rank which is your first choice and which is your second choice of those ones. We try to, as much as possible, to give you your first choice, but sometimes you'll, because of the imbalance on application numbers, you might get your second choice. So make sure you choose very carefully which of those themes you're most interested in there. So you'll tell us about what's your interest and experience in your top 2 themes. For each theme, what do you hope to learn about and experience during the fellowship? What about your background and your interests makes you competitive to these themes? So we want to see what you've already been doing that makes you a good fit, makes you a good match with these themes there. I'll come back and look at the applicant's answer in just a moment here. The second question says, read the questions below carefully before answering. Your answers should be about 200 and 250 words each. Answers under 150 words will not receive full marks. So these should be fully well-developed little mini essays within the word changes you have here. This number was 7.1. What is a challenge in your community, country, or the ASEAN region that you are passionate about addressing? How will participating in the YSEALI Academic Fellows Program help you to address it? I think this is a really important essay. We want to know what you've been thinking about in Myanmar or Southeast Asia that's really a critical issue that you want to address, and why you think participating in YSEALI will help you to address this here. And then the third one here, the YSEALI Academic Fellows Program requires collaborating with other fellows for a final project. How would you approach collaborating on a group project with fellows from other backgrounds? So this collaboration on a group project, and here's what I'll have, in a little bit, I'll ask Adele and Leon and Kao to talk a little bit about this, but this is a really big part of your project here. You will be paired with other fellows as soon as you arrive in the United States, and you will have 4 to 5 weeks to be working with them to develop a final project that then gets implemented when you get back to Southeast Asia. So let's just take a little look now here to give you some sense about how this applicant addressed this here. This first one, tell us about your interest and your experience in top doing these. So this person says, as a young leader with a passion for creating a positive impact through innovative solutions, my primary interest lies in the innovation, entrepreneurship, and economic empowerment. My practical experience in Startup Competition 2023, organized by Startup Thailand League, where I won second runner-up at the regional level and top 15 of national level, provided me with a strong foundation of innovation and entrepreneur mindset. Additionally, the strategic thinking, data-driven decision developed through my first runner-up journey of macro business stimulation have enhanced my ability to navigate complex business landscapes there. During this fellowship, I aim to deepen my understanding of U.S. entrepreneurship strategies by engaging experienced mentors and entrepreneurs, how they can be adopted in the context of Myanmar, and how emerging technologies can address social issues and economic growth. I aim to apply my knowledge, insights, and experiences gained from the fellowship to create a supportive platform, offering training, workshop, and entrepreneurship boot camp for Myanmar youth there. So if you look at this paragraph, the applicant does a really nice job of showing what their interests are. Here's the interests are, what their practical experience has been there, and then how the skills that this applicant has developed then will enhance their ability to navigate this there in the United States. So once they give us that background, then they talk about how I will deeper understand U.S. entrepreneurship strategies by engaging experienced mentors, entrepreneurs there. And then what will I do when I get back? I aim to apply my knowledge, insight, experiences to create a supportive platform. So it's a very nice job of saying what their interests are, what their experience has been, how coming to the United States will enhance that, and then what they plan to do when they return to Myanmar there. A similar kind of thing here, they talk a little bit about business students. This is the kind of stuff on that here. So that's, I think, a really well-developed essay that gives me, as a reader of this application, a real good sense about this person has good experience, good interest, understands what YSEALI can contribute to them, and is already thinking about how this will help them when they return home. Then if you see the second one here, this is also, I think, a really important issue. We want to know that you're thinking about particular issues that are important in your country here. And so here's how this person responds. It says, this is what is a challenge in your community, the ASEAN region, that you're passionate about addressing. A major challenge in Myanmar is unemployment and underemployment among youths, especially because of the global pandemic and the military coup. The lack of job opportunities, particularly for educated young people, drives countless individuals to seek employment abroad, which leads to a brain drain that leads to the country's economic growth. And again, you can see this, I think this applicant was typical. The applicant had to go to Thailand to pursue some higher education because current opportunities in Myanmar are limited on that there. And so this applicant addresses that, particularly in terms of how they will look at that there. And then this is just the last one here. You know, collaborating on a group project requires effective communication, cultural understanding. The applicant talks about how they did this on a particular different situations on that here. So that's just a little bit about how one person did that application there. Why don't we let me just I think, how are we doing on time, Veronica?
We'll still have 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Okay, let's open it up for questions now. And then if there aren't any questions specifically, then I'm going to ask Leon and Adele and Cal just to talk a little bit about what you learned about the application process, or what the YSEALI experience did for you. But let's mostly open it up for questions. You can put them in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and talk directly about them.
Yes, firstly, thank you so much, Professor Spencer, for the insightful presentation. And I'm sure a participant will get a bunch of valuable information from the presentation. So yeah, you can ask the question if you have to the professor, or you can type them in the chat. And if you have any issue to ask the question, we will help you translate it.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I hope I didn't speak too quickly. Sometimes I get excited and I speak English too quickly on things, as Adele knows.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, please.
Due to the Donald Trump ban some country, including with Myanmar, right? So is there any problem with the 4 student in 2025?
I'm sorry, could you repeat your question?
If there are any problem with the student, I mean for 4 student in 2025?
Yeah, so we don't know. I mean, I wish I knew more about that. All of the fellows have been selected. They've all been notified, and we are going to be starting to work with them now in terms of the visa application process and the travel process. So because the travel restrictions for Myanmar just were announced 2 days ago, we don't know yet what impact that might have. We actually have some programs before that. We have another program called SUSI, which is the Study of the United States Institute. And that's coming up in just another month or so. And we have some fellows from Myanmar who are part of that program too. And so we're working first with them to find out whether or not there's any restrictions on that here or not. So I wish I knew more to tell you about this. But we just got the information, and so we're trying to figure out what it actually will mean. And I'm so sorry about that. It's a real regret of mine that, particularly the country like Myanmar, where our access to education is already so limited, I wish we were making that more accessible rather than limiting it here. But we're still trying to figure out the policies of the Trump administration in this area. A very good question.
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah, thank you. And I hope, do you have a particular theme that you're interested of the different YSEALI institutes?
Yes, so I have been selected for fall 2025.
You have been selected for the fall. Great.
Yes.
Which institute? Do you know which institute you are?
I applied for civil engagement, Poland University.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what's the theme of your fall institute?
Civil engagement.
Okay. Have you received your assignment yet to which university you'll be assigned to?
Yes. Portland University.
Portland. Oh, Portland.
Yeah.
Portland State University. Yes.
Yes.
That's in the city of Oregon where my sister lives. It's a beautiful city. So I really hope that will still continue there, and so we should have greater clarification on that. So good luck to you, and congratulations on being selected. And now we just hope we can get the visa situation worked out.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, I see a question in the chat from Nai Chi. I'm 13 years old and currently in the middle of taking GED tests. So what I want to know is if there's a possibility that I can get accepted, even if I'm not currently attending college or university. That's a good question, and I don't know the answer specifically. They usually, if you've been applying to a college or university or an institute, you can indicate that, or if you know that you will be in this next year, because these applications are for a year from now. The other thing is that the State Department knows that Myanmar has very particular situation right now that's different than the other Southeast Asian countries. And we know that access to education is much more limited. So they're making it more flexible for people from Myanmar. So I would still encourage you to apply there and just put out, indicate what your education plans are once you get the GED test there. Let's see, San Yamin, I have a question to ask. I applied for the civic engagement theme back in May 2024 and made it to the interview stage. I wasn't selected as a final participant, but I didn't apply again in August 2024, and I'm planning to apply in the next round. This time, I'm planning to change my theme to innovation and entrepreneurship. Since I don't have any interview experience related to this new theme, what should I prepare in advance? Let me ask, if Leanne or Adele or Cal, would any of you, because all of you went through the interview process, and can you give us any insights about what you did to prepare for that and what was helpful for you as you filled out your application and interviewed?
Uh,
Leanne, do you
so
want to
maybe I
start, and
put
then
it.
we'll go? Yeah, go ahead, Adele. Adele from
Oh,
Indonesia.
okay. Okay, I will put it add a little bit. So I applied wisely for second time. So I failed in the first time. The lesson that I learned from my application that I didn't be myself in the interview. So they asked me that I pretend to impress them in the first time, but it didn't work because like I pretend to someone else, not to be myself. So in the second time I going to the interview, I'm more prepared and I know my goals. I know what I want to do, and I know specifically what I want to do in US. So that's and be myself in the second interview. So it's really help you because like they knows you lie or not. So just be yourself and knows what you want to do and the big reason that you want to apply the YSEALI. That's really important for you.
So Adele, thank you. That's really helpful. So it sounds like you need to be very familiar with the material you put on your application, because they will ask you about that in the interview. And you really need to be clear about what it is, why you want to study in that YSEALI program, and what you hope to do when you come back. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Leon, do you want to address that? Because Leon, you also applied from Myanmar and had some particular experiences here. Can you address that question a little bit about how to both what to address in your written application and then also preparing for the interview?
Oh yeah,
Leon,
thank you,
yeah.
Professor. Yeah, I think it'll cover a
Leon,
lot.
can you turn your video on, Leon?
Okay. I'm now in the internship room, but I will try.
Oh, okay. It's just helpful to be that's fine. Good. Thank you. It's just helpful to be able to see you.
So yeah, I think yeah, they'll cover most of the important sections. And what I prepare is that the background, what I did in the past, and what I will learn in the US, and how I will apply it, the knowledge and the skills back when I go back to Myanmar. So I had a chance to tell what I did in the past, what I contributed to my community, and then what I hope to learn in the US, and then what I will contribute back to my community when I come back to my country after the program. So I think they want to hear more about like how we plan to continue to contribute to the community. So from my experience, talking about my experience, the interviewers, they don't expect us to do big things, big impact immediately after the program. So like the impact that we can make, we need to be realistic, a specific goal that we can really do and in our community after finishing our program. So I think that is the key to be successful applicant in terms of the interview, I would say. And yeah, I think that's it.
Good. Thank you very much there. I don't know if Cal is on there or Stella too, if any of you want to address this question.
Oh, hi, Dr. Jan.
I only see you as a kitty cat, Stella, but it's nice to nice to know you're here.
Yeah, I'm sorry for late. I was just like taking some rest since I came back from a walk like at around 7:30.
Are you able to turn your video on? Or I know sometimes you don't have a strong connection, but
Yeah, I'll try. Oh, okay.
terrific. Okay, yes. So Stella, welcome. It's so nice to see you. Stella was
Yeah.
also a fellow in Montana. And do you have any experience coming from Myanmar that you think would be helpful for people here to know?
Oh, for applying the YSEALI program.
Yes.
There are some things that you have to apply to prepare some things like to know about yourself very well, like a clear vision of what do you want to do about this program. That is the first thing that you have to know, so that you can do the next step. Like, okay, I want to do this, but what do I need? And how can this program help, and how can you do together with this program, so that can be helpful for the next step that you have to answer some questions on that application there. And then there will be something that always they ask about you, what inspire you that you apply this program, something like that. So what do you have to know about that, something kind of these common questions about this application question is that you have to know very well about yourself. Why do you want to apply? What do they want? And like to know about something that very goal for me, I apply for something like I apply for this environmental issue about this from the background of wildlife. And I know very well about myself. I do what I do in my past, what I do currently, what I do in what I did in my past, and what I want to do in the future, so they all align. That's what I want to that's what I want to tell about this set. So the important thing is to align, to all align like that. I did volunteer about wildlife in my background, and I am also doing about currently about that, and I also wanted to do in the future something like that. It will be like on the line. They should be in the same room, something like that. So it will be very helpful for that. Uh, and also like to be also prepared like the very important one is that uh to very have to prepare something like those kind of things you want to talk about, that is, and a very well prepared cover letter, something like that. This is the most important thing that I have prepared in the past this YSEALI program. Yeah.
Stella, thank you. That's so helpful. I want to follow up with a couple things from that
Also,
here, just as a
can I add a
recommendation.
bit?
Yeah, go. Yes, Leon, go.
Yeah, one thing that thank you, Stella, for that insightful sharing. And one thing that I need to add is that even if you don't get selected, after the interview stage, don't be discouraged, because
Yeah.
the interview selection committee, they already have, limited number that they gonna select it. So if they don't select you that time, so that doesn't mean that you are not a good candidate. And sometimes I think we always need a little bit of luck, So don't feel discouraged, and yeah, keep trying, applying again and again. That doesn't mean getting, don't get selected doesn't mean that you're not good candidate, because yeah, they already have a limited
That's
number that they're gonna select, and yeah, keep applying again and again. Yeah.
That's a really important point, Liam, because and Adele mentioned that you applied 2 times, Adele. If you don't get selected the first time, don't get discouraged. You can learn from that. We've had some fellows who have applied up to 5 times. All right. And so they're just persistent. They learned something from each time there, and they went back and they strengthened their application. They reviewed their interview skills. So even if you don't get selected the first time, it's still a very constructive process to go through. It'll help you clarify a lot of things. I also want to remind that you just mentioned a couple of things here. So this is where, again, the application one there, but this, what's this is question here? What is a challenge in your country? You should identify one that's important to you, but you should also know enough about it so that if you get to the interview stage and they ask you about it, you want to show that you understand what the issue is. It might be the issue of wildlife conservation. It might be the issue of waste management of plastics. There's so many different issues, but you should have done enough homework that you can speak to that issue about your own involvement in it, about what you think you can get from being in the United States, and especially what you would do when you come back on that. The other thing I would mention here, and I don't want anybody to get intimidated by this, but for most of you, English will be your second language. It's not a language. And so what I would really encourage is you all have very good English, but once you've written out your essays, I would encourage you to have somebody who's a native speaker, if you can, read them over, because sometimes they can catch small little grammatical errors or things like that, and they'll just make the English stronger. I don't know who this person, what if they did that or not, but the English in this essay is excellent. It's very clear. There's no grammatical errors, things like that here. We do not expect you to have flawless English. Almost nobody's going to have flawless English, but we want to see that you are able to use the English language, clearly. And that way, if you have access to somebody who's a native speaker or someone who can just review your essays to make sure that you've got strongly written English, that will help you also with the application. I don't know, Leon and Adele and Stella, whether you did that or not. You all have such good English, but it can be really helpful to just have somebody review that.
Oh yeah, Dr. Dan, that's also a very good point. It is very important to have a very good English because we have to communicate with those ASEAN countries and also those we are going to the US, right? And so we have to communicate with the US people. So it's very important, but you don't have to get a very high level of English. Just have to have the very communicate English to be able to communicate with English people, to be able to communicate with your ASEAN friends. That's the tips.
Yeah. One of the things that's so interesting for me working with YSEALI is every country has a different accent in terms of how they speak English. And so when you're talking to somebody from the Philippines, or you're talking to somebody from Brunei, or talking to somebody from Thailand, or Vietnam, it's always so interesting because you learn how to identify different accents in English from that. And then you'll get the Montana English too, or wherever you go. There are different accents in different parts of the United States as well. So,
Dr. Say, can I add? So when you arrived in Montana, if you were selected to be as a Montana student, you will have the very good accent of Montana when you arrived there. I am sure and I'm confident to say that because while I was in Montana, yes, I got the Montana accent, which is very slow and very pleasant and really good to express your English. But when you came back, you get your own accent again.
yeah,
And
thank
also
you.
yeah, and also you will also adopted another country's accent. Like
It's true. It's true. So sometimes people learn English from Britain, like have a British accent, and you'll see the United States accent is pretty different
yeah.
from Australia or Britain, things like that. But you'll adapt fine. I see a good question from Nan and Sally. Is there any chance that the essay questions will be changed for 2026? I'm already starting writing, but afraid they will go unused. I don't know that question for sure because Leon was telling me the questions that currently, I think that Adele and Stella, did you have the 3 questions on that application that I read? Because that was different.
For my
Oh.
application just once, but they changed the question for 1 to 3 in 2024. So after
Okay,
fall
so
2024,
yeah.
they changed for 3
I
questions.
think they just this last year changed it. If it was 1 essay question before, and now they changed it to the 3 questions. I think that will be the same, but I don't know for sure. We won't know until we come out here. And then Adele, you want to add your tips that that you put in the chat there?
Oh yeah, I just wanna add like in the previous year that I failed, like I learned a lot from my interview section. So I did a mock interview from the YSEALI alumni to get know more what I should do in the interview and the more preparing. Maybe you didn't know about the specifically question, but you can practice what you want to say, and you can practice more with the alumni, so it will be helpful for your interview section.
And Adele, that reminds me of a really important point. So thank you for that. Almost every country has a YSEALI alumni network. And I know Myanmar does as well. And so if you can get in touch with YSEALI, former YSEALI fellows who are now alumni, that can be really helpful. They can help you answer your questions about the experience itself, but they've all been through the interview process and they've all been through the application process. So I would really encourage you. Do you know, Stella and Leon, is there a Facebook group for the Myanmar YSEALI alums?
Yes, right now, we did collect especially the fellows.
Yeah.
We want to have something kind of these family, like, so for example, like students family, something like that. So we were collecting from starting from Lian. Starting from Lian, and then we have Pansy, and then me, and we have Sophia and Sebastian, and we are still trying to connecting every other one out there.
So Stella, if some of the people on this webinar wanted to contact the YSEALI Myanmar alums, how would they contact you?
Oh, you can contact me through Facebook very easily. My Facebook is Stella Wu, and I will be dropping it in the chat.
Great. Yeah, if you're willing to do that, that would be wonderful. And then you can connect them to the other alums that way there. I see another question from Forrest. Is a person who has already completed a master's degree in the United States still eligible to apply for the YSEALI Professional Programs Program if they have fulfilled their 2-year home residency requirement by the time of application? Also, when will the YSEALI Professional Fellows Program open for the 2026 home? Yes, I think you definitely can. If for the professional fellows, they have different criteria for the professional fellows than they do for the academic fellows on that there. I think that is going to, oh, I see Cal has joined us again too. I think that is that applications or process will be opening up in the next couple weeks as well. That's what I heard was towards the end of June, but you just have to monitor the website to find out for sure about that. But may I ask for us, where did you do your master's degree program? I don't know if Forrest is still here. If you can unmute yourself, Forrest, where did you do your master's program?
I did my master degree in Brandeis University in Walden.
In where?
Walden, Brandeis University.
Oh, Brandeis University. Yeah, very good. Yeah. And what was the top focus of your master's?
My focus was conflict resolution and call system.
Oh, terrific. And so have you been working now since you've finished your master's program back in Myanmar?
Yes, I've been teaching PhD to like students from Rakhine State.
Yeah, I think you definitely should. I think you definitely should look at the YSEALI Professional Fellows Program on that. Be good. I see Cal. Cal, can you turn your video on a little second here? And do you have any anything that you would want to say about in terms of the application process or the interview process? Cal is from Thailand and was here this last fall.
Okay, so about the application and the interview process, I think the best is just to be you. That is all you need to do. Just to be yourself. If you, for example, I apply for environmental issues, right? So I have passion about the nature. So I just describe how I'm passionate about nature. How can I get involved into the community? How can I help this country? And just be yourself and don't tell lies. That's it.
Great. All right. Veronica, I want to be respectful of the time. I think we're getting close to the end of our time. Does anybody have any final questions before? Well, I think the particularly for the previous fellows, the information they've given is really helpful in terms of what to be focusing on as you prepare the application, and then if you get selected for an interview, what you should do for that. I would just really encourage all of you to apply. Even if you don't get selected the first time, each time you apply, it increases your chances greatly for the next time there. It's a fantastic program. We're really hopeful that we can continue to have fellows from Myanmar on that. We're going to be working on our end to see about that here, but really encourage you to apply for the program, and I hope we'll see some of you here.
Okay, I just want to say another thing. Like, if anyone in this want to ask me something, I just send me my Instagram into the message, so you can ask me directly. Yeah.
Okay, good. I see it in there. And then Veronica, I think you said that this meeting has been recorded, so people can go back and find some of the information on there as well. But I would encourage you to copy anything out of the chat there in terms of both the websites and the how to be in touch with some of the other fellows. And thank you for that, Cal, and thank you for that, Stella.
Yes. Yeah, we will upload the recording video in our YouTube channel, and you can watch there. So again, thank you everyone for your thoughtful questions, and again to Professor Dan for your generous responses, and for our wonderful YSEALI alumni for your great information, and they are very helpful for us. And for me, I'm also really encouraged to apply that. So yeah. Thank you. Now we are on the final page for our today's section. And now we'll do the closing remark, and then yeah, we'll call it a day. So to make for the closing remark, let me invite our program manager, Ma Walker. The floor is yours.
It's me again. Thank you so much, Professor, and the audience staying till the end with us. These sessions are very insightful and it's very informative. And webinar, we also have learned a lot and is very motivated to heard your past experience from the alumni, the fellows from the YSEALI program. Last but not least, we want to express our gratitude to Professor Dan for your tirelessly helping to the student from Myanmar. We are much appreciated for your hard work and helping us until this time. It's mean a lot to us. We are trying, and you are supporting. Your help is very meaningful to us. Thank you, also Leanne and alumni from YSEALI program. So your support is also appreciated. So we hope to get support for our new future applicants to be able to helpful for their application process. If you need, you will have a chance to contact to their alumni group, and hope it will be also helpful. Thank you everyone for your time again, and have a lovely day ahead. And good night.
Well, may I say one more thing here? I just want to say I have so much respect and admiration for all of you in Myanmar, whether you're in the country, outside the country. I know this is an incredibly difficult time, and I know you must be very worried about your family and your friends. I also was so saddened by the terrible earthquake that hit Mandalay, and I know has caused so much hardship for your country. I want to visit Myanmar so badly, and I want to visit Myanmar when it returns to democracy. And so that's my real hope. My life has been so enriched by these wonderful, wonderful young people from Myanmar that I have met. And I really hope that all of you have success in pursuing your education and that peace returns to your country very soon.
Thank you, Dr. Dan. Mm.
Thank
We hope
you so much.
we also hope to see you again face to face.
Right.